Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera show. You know, this month is National Peanut Butter Lovers Month. I have that one on my calendar because it's actually one of my absolute favorite foods. And today we're partnering with the Georgia Peanut Commission to officially represent the state crop of Georgia, the peanut. They operate out of Tipton, Georgia, and we've actually done several shows with them over the last few seasons. So today we're going to talk about the affordability of peanuts, the nutritional value, and the fact that they're so versatile, from just eating them out of your hand to putting them in food. So today we're going to do 4 great recipes using peanuts. We're going to start with a Thai green bean. If you're looking for a new side dish, this is really delicious. And then if you want something different for the kids that uses peanut butter, how about a Thai chicken pasta? I think they'll really love it. And then for me, my favorite dessert is peanut butter pie. It's in our new cookbook. It's one of the absolute favorites of our clients during the golf tournament here in Augusta. I'm going to show you how to make a mile-high meringue. And then finally, if you're looking for something for those lunch boxes, how about a peanut butter protein bite? These are just bite-sized, really great. And I also want to welcome today one of our newest stations, WIAT in Birmingham. They're noted for their green spaces, so you got to go there and visit City Walk and Railroad Park. All right, so I'm ready. I'm going to get my apron on and we're going to get started on those Thai green beans. All right, so we're going to get started on these Thai green beans. And you know, when you go to the fresh market to pick up green beans and they're already trimmed and ready to go, it just cuts out one of those steps that maybe you don't enjoy. The other thing about these is they're so vibrant green, but if you ever pick them up and they're not, and you want to make this recipe, you can parboil those green beans for just a few minutes in boiling water. Pull them out of the boiling water and put them into an ice bath, and it'll retain that bright green color. All right, so we're going to get started in a large saucepan here with some sesame oil. And you know, that just, I love the flavor of that, but I also love the aroma in the kitchen. And then I've taken a garlic clove, and instead of mincing it in my little press, I've just sliced it very thinly. So these are going to saute for just a few minutes, just get those kind of limp just a little bit, and then we'll add the green beans to that. The sauce to this recipe is the king. That's the part about this recipe that you're going to love the most. And you know, think about it, when you make something that's that flavorful, what else you could possibly do with it. You know, even in practicing and getting familiar with this recipe that the Georgia Peanut Commission gave me to use today, I thought, gosh, that would be great smothered on top of a grilled chicken breast. So there's lots of things to do with that. All right, so now I'm going to add the green beans to this, and I'll turn my heat up just a little bit, and we're going to want to cook these until they're almost golden. And so those will be just cooking for just a few minutes, and I'll get started on this sauce. So the sauce is soy sauce, and this is where all these Thai ingredients come in. Then this is the sesame oil again. And now I've got the Georgia Grinders peanut butter. And you know, peanut butter is just so nutritious. It has so many values to your health with protein, and you know, honestly, people that really put peanuts in their diet, it really helps with blood pressure also. All right, now I'm going to add in my ginger, rice wine vinegar, and here again, that's another just unusual flavor that makes this so good. And you hear those beans cooking over there? They're smelling really good too. And then I'll just add some water to this. And I'll turn this heat up. And I've got my salt and pepper out, and this will be something I'll do, you know, basically at the end if I feel like it needs more salt and pepper. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a lid on these beans. They're gonna simmer down. and this will cook and get nice and thick, and we'll add that to it and mix it together. And when we come back from the break, we're going to get started on that Thai chicken pasta. We've got great recipes today, so come back with us in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody, and if you're just joining me, we are celebrating National Peanut Butter Lovers Month. They could not have selected a better spokesperson because I literally start my day with peanut butter every single morning. All right, so we are doing a Thai chicken pasta dish right now, and this is something that the children are going to love. It's a really great meal. The recipe makes enough for 2 people, so you can double it, but it's also great if you're by yourself and you want to make dinner. You've got some for lunch tomorrow. So we're going to start with how I did the pasta. So on the pasta, I love to get my water almost boiling. Then I add in a little bit of olive oil and some salt. That way that kind of cooks into the pasta as well. And this has been sitting here for just a few minutes, and look at it. It's not sticky. It's just the perfect consistency for us to use for this dish. So I recommend that you use that method when you're cooking your pasta. Of course, you strain it in a colander. All right, so we're going to start with the sauce that we're making for this, and it begins with salsa. And then the next ingredient is the Georgia Grinders peanut butter. And you know, be sure to look for that in the fresh market when you're in the store, or any store when you're out shopping about. It's just a great consistency. We actually used it in a recipe that we've been making for years, and we really liked the consistency of it a lot better. Right, so I'm going to stir this around. And you know, peanut butter is so high in fiber and protein that I know back in the day when my children were younger and I'd get home from work late and I would just be about to faint. I was so hungry. I'd pull that jar of peanut butter out and take a tablespoon of it, and I had a whole new attitude. So I know my family appreciates the fact that I love peanut butter. Now I've added in my fresh market orange juice. And isn't that an unusual ingredient for this? You know, you get a little bit of that citrus. And now I've got honey. And I picked this up at the fresh market as well. This is their brand. Just love to bake and cook with it. And then some soy sauce. All right, so I'm going to let that just kind of cook for just a minute while I talk to you about this chicken that I'm going to put in there next. So one of the nice things about the fresh market is if you're doing anything with chicken, whether it's shredded chicken, rotisserie chicken, grilled chicken, and you're thinking you've read that in the recipe, now I've got to turn the grill on, or I've got to, you know, bake the chicken in the oven or boil it on top of the stove, you can pick the chicken up ready to go. And that's what makes this recipe so easy, is that this chicken is already prepared. It's been grilled. All I had to do, it comes in strips. All I had to do was chop it up. All right, so I'm using a pasta bowl, single serving pasta bowl for this. And all I'm gonna do now, once this is nice and heated through, in fact, I think I could go ahead and do this right now, is just spoon this over this pasta, and it just makes a beautiful dish. And in terms of garnishing, you can put cilantro, you could put some fresh Parmesan. And when I was growing up, we learned how to roll our pasta with a spoon and a fork, and I loved that too. All right, so we'll present that a little better during the presentation today. But when we come back from the break, we're gonna get started on the peanut butter pie. But in the meantime, do you hate to load the dishwasher? Well, no more, because I'm gonna show you an easy way to make it quick and easy. Vera's Corner is brought to you by TaxSlayer. Dishwashers are intended to save you time, but there's a right way and a wrong way to load them. Let me give you some tips today on how to load a dishwasher correctly so you can save even more time. Don't put things in the dishwasher that don't belong there, like wood objects, good kitchen knives, light plastic, good china, or silver pieces. All of your fragile items belong on the top shelf. Nestle them between the prongs, not over. Now for that most fragile item, your wine glasses. For taller glasses, don't forget to drop your top shelf if your dishwasher has that capability. Glasses go on the prongs, and if you have a stabilizer, make sure you put that down as well. On the lower shelf, dishes should face the same way so the spray arms can get every piece clean. Load back to front. I even like to put my Pyrex dishes in if I have room. I load my silverware in the top rack, but if you don't have that, you may want to group your silverware for easy unloading. Make sure to put your knives blade down for safety. Lastly, run your sink water until it gets hot and run your disposal before starting. This ensures that the water in the dishwasher starts hot and clean. Use these tips to make your dishwashing as carefree as possible. Start free today at taxslayer.com. Welcome back, everybody, and I hope you enjoyed Vera's Corner. You know, my Cove dishwasher is amazing because it has all of the features that we did today, and certainly I suggest that you look into some of their products. And also at my house, I load the dishwasher, but my husband has to unload it. I really hate that job, and he does that for me, so it makes me really happy. All right, peanut butter pie is one of our all-time favorites at VeryVera. It's been something we've been making during the golf tournament here in Augusta forever and ever. It's in the new cookbook. It's everybody's favorite. So let me walk you through some of the steps that I did in advance to get this pie prepared. So the crust for this recipe was my mother-in-law's crust recipe, and I kind of adopted that to go with the peanut butter because I thought the ingredients worked so well with it. So it starts with the Fresh Market's oatmeal, and these are their quick oats, and then it uses almonds, sliced almonds, Land of Lake margarine, and brown sugar. And the margarine you want to have really soft so it mixes together really well. If you need to, just mix it with your hands. Then you're going to press it into a regular size 8 or 9 inch pie pan and get your sides up so they'll show when you put your filling in. So we baked that for 10 minutes and then let it get good and cool. And while it was cooling, I started on the filling, which makes the center of the pie. And the ingredients for that are cream cheese, confectioner's sugar, Cool Whip, and I used the Georgia Grinders peanut butter today for that, and then vanilla extract. And when you mix this in the mixer, I love to fold the Cool Whip and the peanut butter. I take it from the mixer off and use my OXO spatula to fold those ingredients together so you see all of that wonderful marbling. All right, so if that's not good enough, now we're going to put a mile-high meringue on top of it, and I think you'll really love this too. So what I did in advance was I got my egg whites at room temperature. I whipped them until they started getting to a soft peak state. Then your sugar, you want to go very slowly adding that, because if you put too much in, it's going to wilt those egg whites. And so basically this is where I am right now, is I've got all of this very well incorporated. So now I'm going to take this and add in my marshmallow fluff. And you know, for those of you that remember when I was on Throwdown with Bobby Flay, he put marshmallow fluff in his icing for his cake. I don't recommend that, but I do recommend that you put it in your meringue. Okay, so we're going to put this on a low speed just to incorporate that. And then I've got my broiler on because I'm going to get some beautiful peaks, and I'm going to get that nice and toasty on the top. So one recommendation I have is once you put the filling in the pie, you want to place it in the freezer again while you're doing all of this so that it can be good and cold, because you're going to serve this pie cold. All right, so that looks just about right. So let's get this spread on top of this pie. And you know, something like this you could have ready except for the meringue. As a matter of fact, our culinary director, here at VeryVera makes, I don't even want to tell you how many of these pies she makes in preparation for the golf tournament. But we make them and we don't do the meringue part until we actually get to the homes to serve it. All right, so we're going to just pile this up. And you see what I mean about how the peaks are just going to be gorgeous on this. And I wasn't kidding when I said mile high either. And I've also got a sheet pan over here because sometimes it's easier to manage something like this in and out of the oven when you've got a larger surface to work with when you're transferring it. Okay, so let's just see how I'm going to do with this. So I like to start by just getting all the way over to the edge with it. Oh, I just love this, and it slices so beautifully. I love the picture in the cookbook because it shows that. So I'm just going to do some pretty swirls. I've got my oven ready. We'll get this toasted on the top, and when we come back from the break, we're going to lay it all out and talk about all the steps again. So see you back in a minute. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back, everybody. And you know, you might not do an entire meal using peanuts, but if you decided to do it, I don't think you could go wrong. These recipes today were just fantastic. And so I want to walk us back through what we did today because it's really been a lot of fun. All right, so we started with the Thai green beans, and these just cooked up beautifully. You know, I left you with having them simmering in the pan, and I just put it on low. One of the features of my induction cooktop is I could put it on that low simmer feature and just let that simmer while I'm getting everything else prepared. But I've garnished this with some sesame seeds, a few extra little peanuts, but this is just going to be a really great side dish for any entree, pork chops, steak, whatever you're doing. All right, then we did the Thai chicken pasta, and this dish also could be a family favorite. I think the children would love it because you can taste the peanut butter, and we did the pasta with the olive oil and the salt, so it held together very well. The sauce cooked up. You could put some extra strips of that chicken on the top if you wanted to make that more of an entree. You could do the bite-sized pieces, but also put some of the larger grilled chicken breasts that you're going to get at the fresh market right there on top. And then again, some cilantro and a few extra peanuts on the top of that makes a really beautiful fall dish to serve. And then we did the Mile High peanut butter pie, and I mean, honestly, that's a meal in itself right there. But the pie crust just turned out great. It's one that you can make in advance, have it in the freezer. If you decide to do a chocolate dream pie that's in our book, if you decide to do a key lime pie, that crust is amazing. So you can have it ready in your freezer, and you could use some disposable aluminum pans to do that as well. So I've garnished that today with the Sunday sauces from the fresh market. I've got chocolate and caramel. Also added a few extra peanuts to that. So it presents itself. If you want to have a wow factor at the end of a meal, I would definitely do that. And then I've got one more recipe that's a surprise that we did during the break that I thought you would really love. It's great for the lunchbox. It's great just to have on hand. These freeze well. It's a tremendous protein bite. It really curbs your appetite. It's got a lot of great things in it. So let me tell you a little bit about how I made that. So we started with the quick oats from the fresh market. I added in cranberries and chopped up peanuts. Just mixed that together. And then in a heavy saucepan, I melted my butter, the fresh market honey, brown sugar, and you're just gonna let that come to a nice rolling boil. And it boils like that for 2.5 minutes. Remove from the heat, then add the Georgia Grinders peanut butter and vanilla extract. It's gonna get thick and gooey. It's just fabulous. And then you're gonna pour that back on top of the oats and cranberries and peanuts. And now that's gonna be warm, very warm. So let it sit for about 20 minutes so it comes to, more or less room temperature. Then you can pinch it into like a little bit smaller than a golf ball, roll it up. It doesn't even stick to your hands. And again, just put it in little individual containers, put it in your freezer, but those are really good too. So in terms of making my presentation beautiful today, you may remember at the beginning of the season, I introduced you to Go Buy Plants. If you ordered the cookbook from us, you also got a coupon to order something. And this is planting season, y'all. Fall is the perfect time to put a plant in the ground. So one of the plants that I got that day was an Acuba. And Acuba has a variegated variety or a solid green variety. So I just went out in the yard this morning and cut the Acuba to do this arrangement. I've got it in a speckleware bowl, and you can see all the new growth on the plant, which means it's living in my ground. I hadn't killed it yet, so that's awesome. And this is Laura Petalum, and this is another plant that you can get at Go Buy Plants. They've got like 8 different varieties, but that color is so pretty in the yard with the other things that are blooming and just the other shades. It's really different. So keep them in mind if you're looking for a gift for someone this fall. And I always say on the Very Vera show, no matter what you do it in good taste. And I hope you'll come back and join me again next week. Try these recipes.